Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll look at a scenario in which Armenia makes an empire. And, well, this is basically a disputed territory between Azerbaijan and Armenia. But, why am I showing you that? Because the first thing they do is annex Arzak, which leads to a big problem with Azerbaijan. So Azerbaijan deals with the problem that has been caused by declaring war on Armenia. And Azerbaijan doesn't realize, and this is a big deal, that their declaration of war was a bad idea. Why is it starting with war being declared on them? Because, well, it ended up happening. As Armenia rushes in, Azerbaijan rushes in, they made one crucial mistake, which was big. They didn't defend good enough. With Armenia deciding their best bet is to take Nashevishk, I think that's what this exclave is called, they take it. And then they start marching across the border into Azerbaijan, with it looking like Turkey may end up a part of this war, which wouldn't go so well. With the Armenians diving from the north and re-liberating what they just annexed, which Azeri forces try to retreat, but only about 30% get out. So this is about 70% of the forces there. And that was about 50% of the army. With Azerbaijan offered peace. But to their decision, Armenia also gets war declared on by Turkey. Why is Armenia blue still? Well, they should be red anyways, but since this happened, they're not red because they got war declared on. So yeah, this is very weird way to start it, but just makes sense. With a small offensive by Turkey made, but is it enough to save Azerbaijan? Not even close. As Azerbaijan's half of its territory has fallen. But then it realizes that the stress on the front line, they can push Armenia back. They push them back to about here. And, well, at the same time, that's because Armenia was moving forces to kick Turkey out. With them threatening to cross the border, Turkey exits the war. And yeah, this is hidden from its people, as it wouldn't be great if they found out you left the war because you were scared a small nation would invade you. And while Azerbaijan meets for peace in the negotiating table, boosting Armenia, which was great. To the point where Armenia expands to the north. Why would they do this? Because they know Russia will protect them. As they basically get Russia to invade Georgia too, with a promise of some northern territories. With Georgia not ready, as many places instantly switch sides. Yep, as the south falls, Armenia reaches the coast, and then the rest falls by the taking of the sea, as Turkey gets war declared on. Can Armenia succeed? Well, they will, but could they really? With them getting their good friend Iran to join this war, and their other good friend Russia to join this war. And so yeah, let's see how it goes. They knew 100% Azerbaijan would get involved, so they had that border all prepared. And why did they need help? Because they're invading Turkey. With their invasion of Azerbaijan going really well, as Armenia takes Baku, the capital. The rest of the nation falls. Iran starts its march into Turkey. Well, they're going quicker than Armenia's, but that's because they're stronger. With Armenia, the Armenian Empire now moving along the coast, along with Russian forces, and a small amount of Russian forces land here and here. These are both successful landings. There was a landing here, and here, but the problem with these 3 landings was failure, failure, failure. And now Turkey is probably fighting a 2-front war, kinda. As these forces are now large enough that more forces can be landed in. And with the more forces comes the greater chance of problems. With Turkey almost having a huge chunk of its military cut off, it has to withdraw all these forces so it doesn't happen. So on the map, this looks really bad. But in human figures, not as bad. With a Russian landing happening here and being successful. So basically, they're hoping they can take this area, which they managed to do. So the Russian Navy comes and sets up a choke point, basically. And then, well, Istanbul fell from the center out. And well, Armenia continues its push. As Iran and Armenia, a bit of Armenian forces, mostly Iranian, make it to the sea. With Turkey being forced to surrender. With Armenia becoming a world power, lack of stability in Iran, which is going on, Armenia invades from the north. And the Iranian forces weren't ready. And there's still loads there, so they just did this. And they move, quickly trying to make these soldiers run out. And well, Iran quickly decides to get their ally, Syria, involved. Yep, they basically put their allies into this war. And Turkey joins just because they want lands back from Armenia. Which Armenia knew this was going to happen. So it basically becomes a war of survival. If they lose this war, they don't exist. So they basically fight. And fight. And they're not really making good gains for this war to be sustainable at this rate. But it is a sustainable war, just not at this rate. They're moving. Well, at least it's not for Iraq-Syrian connectivity. As virtually all of the Kurdish territories in northeastern Syria falls. With Armenia rushing in fire. And well, Iraq leaves the war, literally. And Iran isn't really happy about this. So Iran decides they want to get revenge. So Iraq joins Armenia's team. With Iran overwhelming southern Iraq. Somehow. And well, with a big spearhead comes the capturing of Ankara, which leads to the collapse of Turkey, which quickly leads to these nations collapsing. Which they help Iraq kick Iran back, and then they use Iraq for a staging ground into an area where a lot of Iran's potential comes from. And while they move, Armenian Empire moves, they manage to take Tehran. And with the fall of Tehran, they're pretty much stuck. But Iraq manages to take the lands it wants. And well, eventually everybody comes to the peace negotiating table. It'll land, but probably gaining more better lands. Probably. And they complete their series of wars by invading Russia. What? You may be saying, why do you just say they're invading Russia? Yeah, but they got Greek support. Yes, they got Greek support. How'd they get Greek support, you may be saying? You may be like, but I thought Greece was not going to get involved. Because they offered Greece lands they couldn't say no to. Which Russia is holding over the Black Sea. So right now they're the most powerful nation. But while this is going on, some country, not going to point fingers, takes back Crimea. Don't know who. Fine, it's Ukraine. And Greece moves into these lands. While Russia is shocked as Armenia moves up into the Transcaucasian area of Russia, which isn't that crazy. As they somehow climb mountains. And everybody's like, how? They're just marching mountains. As the mountains are disappearing when they move, but when the Russians come, they're still there. Wait, that doesn't even make sense. And so eventually they come to peace. That were to theirs thousands of years ago. And, well, Turkey is now even at higher tensions with Greece. And Armenia is happy because they have a big, strong empire, everyone. And yeah, I hope they enjoy their empire. But will it be crushed? Probably by Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Russia one day will say, we need to get our revenge. And maybe Syria will join, because look, Syria is just the Darmacus. It's probably called Darmacus Republic. And so everybody's pretty much happy. Fine, that's right. Let's look at relations. Dark red means bad here. Light red means bad, but could be worse. Fine. That Syria is in a darker color. Countries that are very positive will be dark green. Which are countries that I think are positive. But they are surrounded by enemies. Now, I'm probably getting Bulgaria and Greece to like them, but maybe not be friends. And I'm guessing they probably don't have good relations with these nations. I'm just guessing. And maybe Poland will like them a bit. Hungary probably won't like them too much. And Romania doesn't like them? I'd say Romania does. And probably Moldova. And Belarus probably dislikes them because they like Russia, but why wouldn't... You see, this doesn't make sense why I'm doing this. And I guess Egypt is probably friendly to them. I'd say most likely Israel isn't too friendly to them. Why? Because they're closer to Turkey and they're closer to Azerbaijan in our world. And so I think this is pretty good for what their relations would be. I think it's pretty good. You may have a different opinion, so you can express that in the comments box. As the comments is a place where you can share your opinions. So share your opinion. And now to the end. How are the states in it even divided? Why do they even have states, you may be saying? Well, there's probably the Armenian state, which I would estimate to look something like this. Then we have the Azeri state, the Russian state, probably a Turkish state, and then they probably have a Kurdish state here, and they probably have a bit of an Armenia. And see, the states make pretty much a lot of sense. And so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave your comment. Do you want more small countries to make empires on my channel? If so, leave a like and a comment, as that shows you like my videos. And that's pretty much all for today's video. We're trying to get to 375 subscribers by the end of this month. We are so far at 256. So we're getting pretty close. And there will be a special soon since we hit 250. And so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. That's all for today's video. Wild Mamper out.